She is the general election candidate for Fine Gael in Dublin Rathdown. She's a family law expert with Madigan Solicitors. It is Councillor Josepha Madigan. Where do you want to go if you're going to get elected? What are you going to do? I mean, you're a woman. You're a Fine Gael candidate in Dublin Rathdown. Other than the economics of land, what else?
There are a good few issues, George, that I'm quite passionate about. Self-employed is one. I've been self-employed for the last 20 years. I think that we need to equalise that in terms of the benefits that we receive. For example, I have two sons. I went back to work after 8 weeks with both of them, simply because I am self-employed. I also want to look at childcare. I think that we need to address that. I think we need to look at maternity benefit and see if that it's taxed, in my view, quite highly. I think we need to reduce that, help women back into the workforce. Many, many issues. I mean, I am obviously a Fine Gael councillor, and I want to try and keep this recovery going as we have. I think there's been a huge amount of work done since we took over in 2011, and I am determined to try and continue that.
You are a councillor, and of course we're talking in the wake of what appeared to be low standards in high places. What was your reaction to that?
I was looking at it last night, George, as if I was in a parallel universe, to be perfectly honest. I mean, as you say, I am a councillor myself, and I found it really difficult.
This was the prime time investigation.
This was the prime time, the SIPO investigation. And in fact, you mentioned to me off air about my late father, and I do remember he gave evidence in a tribunal. Now, obviously, he wasn't accused of anything himself. I think it was for some developer, and he was giving evidence as a witness. But I remember he said that going down the annals of the corridor of the council offices was like Paul O'Connell avoiding a scrum away from developers, you know. But it's very important to stress one thing, George, and this is a point that is forgotten. Obviously, it goes without saying, it's absolutely abhorrent the way that these people, councillors, behaved, right? But at the end of the day, as a councillor, you're entitled to bring motions for developers, as long as it's done in public and in transparency, and it's fully transparent. Like, I have acted for developers in the council for a retirement village, for example, in Ticknock, and various other applications. So just because you're doing work on behalf of a developer does not mean per se that it's in any way illegal or in any way unethical. I found it very interesting that none of the councillors, as far as I have heard today anyway, have actually resigned. I think they've resigned from their parties, but I don't actually think they've resigned from the council. And I think that's a disgrace. I think they absolutely have to resign. I can't see how they
but
are.
People don't resign in Irish public life.
Yeah, but that's wrong. I'm sorry, I think that's very wrong. You know, I'm a lawyer. You know, in any profession, and I suppose you could call is politics a profession. You know, there's a question mark over that, but in a sense it is. And the high ethics and integrity that you bring to public life, you have as lawyers. There are lawyers. I remember Michael Lynn and Thomas Byrne and all of these lawyers that took clients' funds. It was the same thing. You're kind of going, are we living on what are these people doing? What are they actually thinking? I mean, my integrity is so important to me in politics and as a lawyer. And I found it really, really disappointing to see that there are still councillors doing this. You know, I mean, it was like looking at a movie, to be honest.
All right, my guest is Councillor Josepha Madigan, a general election candidate for Fine Gael in Dublin Rathdown, and of course family law expert with Madigan Solicitors.